Hey, good morning. Wanted to jump on live today to talk about jumping. It's kind of a sore subject for some of us ladies that have had multiple vaginal births. However, there are 4 benefits to it. And I'll go through them and then I'll show you some options that you might have. The reason this is coming up is because this morning I was training my clients, and at the end of the workout, we were doing our metabolic finisher, and I gave them the choice of picking 2 exercises, and they picked great exercises, but I said, okay, now one of them has to be more explosive in nature, and I'll tell you why in a second. So the first benefit of adding plyometric training or jumping would be stronger bones. So we know that it helps with our bone density, not just strength training, but actually plyometric training. Here's my guest star. 2, it actually helps your joints. So whereas it sounds counterintuitive, especially when it comes to the knees, it can help build up the cartilage, make the cartilage a little bit more, or make your knees more responsive, not responsible, and also just more agile in general, and actually can prevent you from injury during your athletics and even during your training. So that was 3, I think. And the last one, oh no, that was only 2. Third one is it really helps you. So like I'm a cyclist and I also like to play pickleball. So it helps me with my sports, and it also helps with endurance. If you are doing true plyometrics, you can't do them for an extended period of time, but you can do them for short bursts, and we know that that helps us with our endurance sports. And then the last thing is, doing box jumps, you kind of feel like a badass. So just another reason to incorporate that for confidence building. So now let's get into what might be a way to ease yourself into plyometric training. You might have bad knees and jumping may not be the thing for you, especially if you have had a knee replacement, but you can still get explosive by doing an almost jump squat. So the width of your feet, I always say, should be whatever's natural for you if you were to do a jump squat. Also the placement of your toes, whether they go straight ahead or turn out. I like slightly turned out, and I like about shoulder, maybe even a little bit wider, because that's what fits the shape of my hips. So good way to find out for you if you're okay with jumping is to just do a couple jump squats and see where your feet land, okay? So say you've had a knee replacement, or you know you have a torn meniscus, or something's going on with the inside of your knee, you've got tendonitis, and you still want to practice plyometric training, or maybe you've never done it before and you're a little nervous to jump, or it could be because of that incontinence issue, right? You can still get explosive and pretend like you're going to do a squat jump. So you want to triple load and then triple explode. So you notice my feet did not leave the ground, but my hips, my knees, and my ankles all went into what's called extension. So I'm loading and then exploding, but my feet are never leaving the ground. So if you've never done any jumping, you're concerned about jumping, I would start with like maybe 2 sets of 6 to 8 of those. And typically I put them at the back of my workout, at the end of the workout. So do all your strength work, the important stuff first, and then you can actually do your plyometric training at the end of your workout when you don't have to worry so much about how much load that you're lifting, because that should be your priority, right? So we just build that into the end of the workout. So there's a pretend jump squat. Then you can go into your jump squats, right? The way I like to do jump squats, and there are multiple ways, you can start and reach up, but I actually like to pull down as I'm going up. It's a coordination thing. I don't know, I just prefer it this way. I feel like I can get more explosive when I use my arms arms to pull me. So I'm loading my hips, and again, you see that triple flexion, right, going on from my ankles, my knees, and my hips. Something to watch for is what's called a valgus collapse. So you want to, anytime you're squatting, whether you're jump squatting or just doing a regular squat that's loaded or maybe even not loaded, I always like to cue, like imagine the outside of your feet all the way up to your knees are pressing into walls on either side of them. That way you're not gonna collapse inward. Just FYI, women tend to be more quad dominant than men. And also the valgus collapse is super common for women. And if you've ever had a young daughter play sports, knee injuries are super common because of that valgus collapse. So just something to keep in mind when you are doing your squats. Think about not like pressing out to the outsides of your feet, but creating that tension on the outsides of your legs. All right, so we have the explosive pretend squat, then we have the jump squat, and we also have box squats. So there's a thing called a depth jump or a depth squat jump. I am not a huge fan of that. And I guess you could start on a very low box and practice them. Being able to stop and land is super important. I prefer building strength from the ground up versus from the up to the ground. So you could start with a very low box, get into that, check out Daisy here, get into that loading phase, and then jump up onto the box, give yourself a nice soft landing. I always say squat like a ninja or jump like a ninja, right? So load up, bring your knees up, and then drop into that squat. You could also tuck your knees up into your chest, but I wouldn't start there. The higher you go on the box, the harder it's gonna be. I used to have these soft plyometric boxes at my gym that used to go up to 3 feet. And I think the first box was like 12 inches, and then it was 20 inches, and then it was 36 inches, and you could stack them, and it was really cool. We would have competitions, and it was a lot of fun. But if you are just starting, start low and start slow, right? Again, I would probably do 2 sets of maybe 6 to 8, and then build up to 3 sets of 10 to 12 or 10 to 15, because they do get tiring. And then the other thing you could do, and this is what I had my clients do this morning, I started on a little bit higher, and this is a really sketchy box, so don't do this at home. This is just a cheapo $8 step because I don't have a lot of room in my condo and it needs to be packed away. You could also use a chair, I guess. I like the knee being parallel to the hip, as far as that's about as high as I would go on these. And then it's just an explosive step up. So I'm pushing down as I'm switching legs in midair. So all of the weight is on the top leg, and I'm not even pushing off my back leg when I do those. You could progress to that. You could also start with just a single leg. And again, you're not going to get triple flexion on that, but because you can't leave the bench when you do that. I guess you could. If you run something more stable, you certainly could, but I wouldn't do it on this. So that would be almost like a lead in. And then we went into the other one. They chose to just do forward box runs. I did the explosive step-ups. And then I said the other pick was jumping jacks. And I said, okay, I'll give you 2 choices. You can either do single leg explosive step-ups, or you can do what we used to call in my gym, jumping jackies. So a jumping jacky is like that, okay? Feet are still leaving the ground, not quite as intense. I'm pushing my knees out, my arms are coming up, and that's just another form of a plyometric exercise that you could do. Plenty of other ones, but don't want to overwhelm you with that. Again, just start slow, but it really does help. The second thing I just want to remind you is about your breath, right? Always on the exertion phase, you want to exhale. So as you are pushing away from the ground, that's when you're exhaling. As you're coming down, you're inhaling. The other thing you want to keep in mind is making that breath come from your pelvic floor, right? Too often, we are breathing up in here and not down in here. So a great way to even just practice breathing is to lay on the ground with your feet on the floor, knees bent, and focus on finding that breath occurring from your pelvic floor all the way up and out. And I like to put my tongue on the roof of my mouth. Another live video. All right, you guys, have a great Friday. Let me know in the comments below if you have ever done any kind of plyometric training. What is your favorite plyometric exercise? Also, let me know if you've never even heard of plyometric training and if you've never done it before. And then lastly, starting on Monday, I am running a referral challenge. So that referral challenge is going to be invite as many women that you think would benefit from the information that I provide in this group. I'm offering a $100 cash prize to the person that invites the most people that actually accept. That's the kicker. They have to actually accept to be invited. And I can see who has been invited. So if you want to start inviting people, I'm all about it. That's fine. I just want to get my message out to women over the age of 40 that are struggling, whether it's because of their hormones, whether it's because their body is just going crazy and they don't know what to do about it. They've gained weight in their midsection and it's driving them crazy. They want to start a workout program and they just don't know how. They are interested in nutrition and need to learn more. They are interested in learning about macros, learning about why sleep is so important, why stress management is so important. So anybody that you know that would benefit from the information that I provide, if you're out here and you're paying attention to this group, I know everybody doesn't always see everything, but I did want to make that announcement that I am running a referral challenge. It does start on Monday. It'll be a full week, and you'll see me posting about it. But let me know about this plyometric training. Also, let me know if the reason you don't do any kind of jumping or plyometric training is because of your knees or because of your incontinence. And let me know which one it is. No embarrassing moments in here. Shit's real. And it is what it is, but there are definitely things that you can do to help yourself get over that. So, here to help, as always. Have an amazing weekend. If you haven't been catching my stuff on my personal pages on Coach Michelle M Fitness on Instagram, I'm on TikTok now, and on my personal Facebook page, I am doing more reels, which is really taking me out of my comfort zone. I'm not a fan, but I've been told it's something that I need to be doing, so I'm doing it. Taking yourself out of your comfort zone is the best way that you can possibly grow, right? In whatever it is you're doing. So here I am, and I appreciate you guys for all that you input, asking me your questions, being active in the group, and just really being supportive of my mission, which is to help women over 40 get unstuck. My book, it's the title of my book. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. Anyway, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.